Israel versus Iran. This is no longer just a theoretical conflict that might occur at some time in the future. The time of proxy skirmishes or single missile and drone strikes has come to an end. Following Israel's Operation Rising Lion, both nations are now locked in a full-scale confrontation that is throwing the Middle East into chaos. The big question everyone is asking is simple. Who comes out on top? This is the detailed military clash worth following as the military show explores how Israel and Iran measure up. The analysis starts with the numbers. As per Global Firepower, GFP, which annually ranks 145 militaries using a unique system factoring in more than 60 criteria, Iran takes the lead in terms of sheer size. That applies at least to manpower. Iran is far larger than Israel in both territory and population. With roughly 90 million people, Iran's population is nearly 10 times that of Israel's 9.5 million. That bigger population means a huge edge in available personnel at all levels. GFP reports that over 41.5 million Iranians are fit for duty compared to 3.2 million Israelis. Another 1.44 million Iranians reach military age each year, which is over 10 times Israel's figure. And when looking at both countries' active and reserve forces, the effect of this huge manpower edge is obvious. Iran fields an active military of 610,000 personnel, plus 350,000 reserve and 220,000 paramilitary troops. The paramilitary forces mainly belong to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which operates separately from the main military, and if Turkey is to be believed, is gaining political influence fast after Operation Rising Lion. Israel's active military and paramilitary forces are far smaller, with 170,000 and 35,000 members, respectively. Yet it has a stronger reserve, adding 115,000 to its numbers there. If a war between Israel and Iran was decided on the ground, where such figures count, Iran would have the clear upper hand. But that's not the case. This conflict is seeing technology take the lead. To date, the entire fight on both sides has been fought from the skies. Israel strikes Iran using its top-tier fighter jets and precise weapons. Iran answers back with missiles and drone attacks launched from within its borders to try and swamp Israel's air defenses. In this kind of war, Iran's thousands of extra armored vehicles, larger navy, and heavier artillery don't matter. Nor does the fact that Iran's territory is about 75 times bigger than Israel's. If this were a land war, Iran could use that vast size to stretch Israel's forces thin, creating a huge front line where its manpower edge would pay off. But once more, that isn't the kind of war Iran and Israel are locked in. And when you look at the technology both sides bring to the fight, the picture of who truly holds the edge shifts dramatically. Take air defense systems, for example. Both nations field many air defenses, but there are key gaps in quality and in how those systems are put to use. In this area, Iran lags far behind Israel. As AP News reports, much of Iran's military hardware is a mix of Soviet-era systems bought from Russia and the US before the 1979 Islamic Revolution, as well as local products that deliver little, if any, tech progress. The Jerusalem Post underlined this in October 2024, pointing out that Iran favors a quantity-over-quality strategy for its air defenses. Russia-made S-300s form a big part of that arsenal. In 2007, Iran signed an $800 million agreement with Russia to acquire that particular system. Iran wanted 4 of them. The deal was held up, but it finally got what it aimed for. The issue is that the S-300 is an aging system. The original model entered service back in 1978. Even though it's been upgraded multiple times since then, Iran still finds itself fielding Soviet-era air defenses against some of the most advanced fighter jets in the world. More on that soon. Iran has also created air defenses of its own, but these tend to be poor replicas of systems from other nations. Take its Messad system, is a low-cost copy of the US MIM-23 Hawk, though later Iranian versions at least have road mobility. Iran also produced the Sayed-1 surface-to-air missile, based on China's HQ-2J. Russian S-200S, even older and weaker than the S-300, are part of Iran's defense network too. Iran is also confirmed to possess at least one Tor M1, another Russian system, since it used that weapon by mistake to down a civilian jet in 2020. There's more, but the pattern is plain. Iran's air defense plan mixes together whatever it can obtain to create an aerial shield. And again, for most nations in the Middle East, that's good enough. Many of Iran's neighbors either have weaker air defenses, aren't its foes, or lack the air power to exploit Iran's many gaps. Israel, on the other hand, is a different story. Operation Rising Lion showed that Iran's patchwork air defenses couldn't hold up against strikes from modern fighter jets. They couldn't even stop sabotage efforts. The Times of Israel reported that Mossad agents pulled off a series of sabotage missions against Iran's air defenses before Operation Rising Lion kicked off, leaving those systems nearly useless and proving how exposed they really are. Former Mossad intelligence chief Zohar Palti shared in a Sky News interview with Yelder Hakim that it took Israel just 36 to 48 hours to completely take control of Iran's skies. We believe it would be much tougher and, because I don't want to boast or anything like that. I mean, it went much faster than we expected. These aren't signs of a nation with solid air defense tech. Israel is far ahead in this tech fight. Why? Because it's built a multi-layered set of air defenses that work together to be way more effective than Iran's patchwork system. Israel's core air defense plan relies on three systems: the Arrow, David's Sling, and the Iron Dome. Each serves its own role. The Arrow system can take down aerial threats from nearly 1,500 miles away, making it the main tool for stopping ballistic missiles. David's Sling has a 186 miles range, making it perfect for mid-range threats, while the Iron Dome can destroy targets up to 43.5 miles out. It's great for drones and any missiles that slip past the first two defense layers. Adding to these three systems is a Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, or THAAD, battery Israel got from the US in October last year. That THAAD unit fits between David's Sling and the Iron Dome, with a range near 124 miles. And there's more on the way. Israel has successfully tested a laser aerial defense system called the Iron Beam, able to take out various aerial threats at close range. We have a video that covers all the details about the Iron Beam, so be sure to check that out to find out more. What's happening here is very different from Iran's air defense strategy. Israel's systems are advanced, layered, and highly effective. And here, Israel's smaller size, a weakness in a land battle, becomes a huge plus. Iran has a lot more territory to defend. Israel has much less, which lets it build the tight, focused defense that brings down most of Iran's missiles and drones. Israel's defenses aren't 100% perfect. Nothing truly is, but both the Arrow and Iron Dome are thought to have success rates near 90%, which is massive in an aerial fight. Missiles and drones are another front where tech will greatly shape the clash between Israel and Iran. When it comes to missiles, Iran once again favors quantity over quality. Professor Michael Clark of Sky News says Israel believes Iran produces about 300 new missiles each month. He also notes that estimates now place Iran's stockpile at between 2,000 and 3,000 missiles, built mainly to counter the danger Israel presents. That large missile count has a goal. Iran aims to swamp Israel's far more advanced air defenses by sheer numbers. It's a smart tactic. As good as the Iron Dome and Israel's other defenses are, they still need interceptor missiles. Those are both limited and costly. Iran is betting it can use sheer volume to wear down Israel's air defense missile reserves, leaving the nation exposed in the end. Iran also appears to have some modern missiles in its mix. AP News reports that an unnamed Israeli military source said on June 19th that Iran launched a missile carrying multiple warheads at Israel for the first time during its response to Operation Rising Lion. That missile could be the Khorramshahr, which Iran claims it first tested in 2017. It's yet another derivative weapon. This one is based on a North Korean missile, according to AP News, citing the Center for Strategic and International Studies. And the multiple warheads may actually mean submunitions rather than true multiple independently targeted reentry vehicle, or MIRV technology. Still, it's a powerful weapon that, when paired with Iran's large numbers, could inflict serious harm if it breaches Israel's air defenses. Naturally, Israel is anything but helpless when it comes to missiles. In addition to the high-tech missiles it employs for air defense, it has several missile types ready to strike Iran. The sea-launched Harpoon would come in handy if the Iran-Israel conflict extends to the seas. The Gabriel would as well. But it's Israel's Jericho missiles that pose the greatest danger to Iran, at least from a ground-based launch standpoint. Both the Jericho 2 and Jericho 3 are thought to be nuclear-capable with enormous ranges. The Jericho 2 can strike targets up to 932 miles away, enough to reach Iran. The Jericho 3, in service since 2011, likely has a range between 2,982 and 4,038 miles. Both are also believed to be true MIRVs. Iran must be concerned about them, as Israel has already crippled its air defenses, meaning Iran might not have much ability to protect itself if Israel decides to use these missiles. One area where Iran could have a tech edge is drones. Israel does have drones. The issue, assuming Israel even wants to rely on them, is that it doesn't have many. That's according to Statista, which estimated in November 2024 that the Israel Defense Force, or IDF, has 1,150 military drones for recon and combat use. Iran, on the other hand, has far more, and in this case, its quantity over quality strategy actually works. The crown jewel of Iran's drone program is the Shahid and its many versions. United Against Nuclear Iran cites former CIA officer Bernard Houston as saying Iran can build about 100 Shahids monthly at around $20,000 apiece. That's a big drone fleet. A year's output gives Iran more drones than the IDF has.